Good morning, everybody. Good morning, my dear students. Today is Thursday, 16th of April 2020, and today we will complete our reading comprehension text about schools around the world, and I hope that you will enjoy my lesson today. So, as usual, we are using the sight words to talk about. So, let's practice. Okay. The first word with us today, as yesterday, the word about. About. Repeat after me the word about. My second word is better. 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 Read. Read. Repeat after me the word read. Write. 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 Sing. 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 Okay. Before I will tell you about my outcomes, I want all of you to try to write the practice sight words on a sheet of paper and try to use them in sentences. Really, it will help you in improving your language and your knowledge of vocabulary. So today, I will tell you my objective. Today, as we were talking for 3 days, we will identify the main idea and details in the informational text, and we can analyze and evaluate text while reading. And I want all of you to just focus that today we will complete reading our story, not story, sorry, text. We will complete reading our text, and I want all of you to start to figure out what's meant by main idea, what's meant by graphic features or text features, what's meant by all of these, because really we have done a very hard work for 3 days about the main idea and about the text features. So first of all, I want to remind you with our with our text title, our text title here, schools around the world, and its genre, informational text. It gives facts about a topic as you read. Look for photos and captions, facts and details about a topic. And our essential question, it was, how are some schools different from each other? But before I will start, I want to do something with all of you. I prepared for you something really you will like. Let's watch this one. So, my dear students, as we were talking about, we talked about children and how they are in not undeveloped country, but they are in Haiti, and Haiti faced an earthquake. And as we said, that those kids, unfortunately, they don't have schools, and they the UNICEF helped them to have schools intense. So I'm just want you to look at other kids in other countries that they don't have any opportunity to have education or to have anything, and they want to learn. And if you want to learn, you can learn anywhere. Okay. Also, here, time now for completing our reading for our story. So as we did yesterday, we were talking about uh, we talked about what is our school is similar to schools around the world, and we talked about the uniform in schools, and we talked about children duties and chores and how they are dealing in their schools, how to study, how to do everything. Also, we were talking that we have special schools for special people, and we have different kind of schools. We have school for blind people, school for deaf people, and we have different things. Today we will continue talking about schools, and today we will talk about school and work. And here we said that some children work as performers. They spend part of their day practicing the work that they do. They spend the rest of the day studying regular school subjects. What are those schools? The schools for sports, that we have ballet school and we have sports school. And those sports schools that are helping the young children to build their hobbies and be, you know, maybe an athlete or someone who likes sport and he wants to take medals and a lot of things in sports. So here we are talking about the special school for uh, special sports or something like that. Here in this picture, students below perform a traditional Russian dance, and this is in Russia. We have a school for traditional dance in Russia. Here, one of the subjects that was taught in ancient Greece was gymnastic, and all of us know about gymnastic as a sport. The ancient Greeks thought gymnastic was just as important to learn as math or reading. So in Greece, it's a country, they thought that reading and math is like playing gem, okay? As this boy in this story, older students, many people go to school even after they are adults. They may go to college or they may go to a trade school to learn how to do a certain job. So, what is the main question here? The main question here that the big people, the adults here means the big people, like my mom, my dad, who we have some uh, old people or big people, they didn't go to school while they are kids. So What is the solution for them to know how to read and write? They are going to a school called trade school. What's meant by trade school here? The trade school is a school for the big people to learn how to do job, a certain job, like these jobs that need more physical efforts. Adults here also take classes for fun. They study different languages and learn how to do things. So in this big schools, what are they? It's just a big school for the old people who didn't know how to read and write. So they are going to the big school to learn how to read and write and to do things. And also, maybe they can get a job. No matter how old students are, they go to school to learn. Okay, so for your information, who are those people? We can meet them in our real life, like the one who are working in the supermarket. Maybe they don't know how to read and write, so they are going to the trade school. Maybe those women in India, they go to school at night to learn how to read and write. Okay, so now we finished our text and we have read the whole text. So now it's time for our question to know and to evaluate our understanding. So let's start with the first question with us. How are schools around the world are alike? I told you before. How are schools around the world are alike? The schools around world are alike. That when I said that, most of schools they have what I told you. The first answer here: the schools are alike in buildings. And what else? I want to hear your answer. And students have bags as we have in the picture. What else? What you can tell me? How they are different? Do you think how schools are different? So the second answer here, schools are different in maybe what? In uniforms and what else? Maybe the subjects, maybe the language. So we have different answers, okay? Okay. How is the school in the picture like your school? It's like my school. You can tell me that in my school we have students, in this school we have students. In my school we have a building, here we have a building. In my school we are studying, here they are studying. So we have different ideas. Okay, let's go to telling card number 2. Okay. Okay, in this page, I want to ask you, what are you seeing here? We are seeing here children around a table and they have a book with their teacher. Okay, so what do you think those kids are doing here? They are learning about the world. Maybe they are studying social study. So my question here is, why are all these children dressed the same way, do you think? And why do children at schools around the world wear different clothing? If you remember, we said that in the first question, They are dressed in the same way because they are wearing school uniform. Okay, the second question, why do children at schools around the world wear different clothing? Because they are wearing according to the country climate. We said that if we have a cold place, they will wear heavy clothes. If they are in a hot place, they will wear something light. Okay, let's watch the next page. Here in this page, what are you seeing? Do you remember when we said that we have in all schools some duties or chores for the students? So how are the students in the picture helping at their school? How are the students in the picture helping at their schools? I believe that in this picture, what is happening here? They are doing what? If you remember, see here. They are helping their school by cooking in the canteen. Okay. What about this boy? He is helping in the library. So the next boy is helping where? In the library. Okay. What do you do to help at your school? Do you think, what are you doing to help in your school? Some of you are helping in the assembly time to rearrange and reorder the students. Some of you are helping Mrs. Summer in the library. Some of you is helping Mrs. Rania in the broadcast. So we have a lot of duties in our school. Let's go to the next page. Here in this page, do you remember it was the last page in the book? What are some reasons adults go to school? Do you think why or what are the reasons that make big people or old people to go to school? That they don't know how to read and write. Okay, this was the first answer for me. The second answer, what do all the students have in common? They want to read and write. What would you like to learn when you are a grown-up? Do you think, what do you want to be when you are grown up? What do you want to learn? This question is for you. You can write for me your answer. Okay, again, the first question here. I said, what are some reasons adults go to school? They are that they don't know how to read and write. What do all students have in common? All students, what they are do? They are learning. And finally, what would you like to learn when you are grown up? What do you want to learn? This is up to you. You should choose whatever you want to learn. Okay? And now we will go to the other page. I have my exit tickets for you to finish our lesson, and it was about the whole text questions, just to figure out your information about uh, what we were talking about for 3 days. I want to evaluate your understanding level, and let's start the first question here. Why does the why does the author use headings in this selection? Do you think why in this text the author used a lot of headings? Do you remember? I can go to back. I can go back to the story. See here, he used to use headings like this, a big headings. Do you think why? Why? To entertain readers, to tell what each section is about, to explain what is in each picture. You should think about. Do you think why he used to use headings? We answered this question many times. I believe you know the answer. I can hear it. Yes. To tell what each section is about. To tell what each section is about. Excellent. Okay. Question number 2. The reader can tell that the selection is about real schools because the author, the reader can tell that the selection is about real schools because the author includes what? Photographs of the schools, the names of all the schools, stories written by students in the schools. I know that you know the answer. What did the reader can tell? That the selection is about real schools. Why? Do you think why? From what we know that this text was real. From the photographs, from the names, from the stories. I can hear the answer. Yes, from the photographs. Excellent. Again, question number 3. Why does the author include amazing school facts? Do you remember when we used to read the text, there was some fact about some students or some schools? These boxes, why? Why the author use it? To tell the main idea of each section, to give extra information about schools, to explain where reader can find out more about schools. Do you think why? Why he used more information in these boxes? Why? I can hear your answer. Excellent. To give extra information about schools. Okay? What is one way that all schools are alike? He said in the text, the whole schools were same. In what way? They were all places where children can live. They are all small buildings made up of rocks. They are all places where students go to learn. Do you think How schools, all of them, they are alike. That the whole schools in everywhere, the whole schools, all children wants to learn. So the answer is they are all places where students go to learn. Now let's go to the next page. Okay. Question number 5. The author wrote school buildings to help the readers understand why school buildings around the world are. Do you think that the author wrote school buildings to help the reader to know what? Never small, not all the same, always easy to find. The answer is easy again. The author wrote schools building. When he talked about the building of the schools, he said that all buildings for the schools are all of them same? No. So the answer is not all the same. Okay. Why did the author write the section of school chores? Okay. Do you think why? Why he wrote this part? To compare chores at school to chores at home. And we said that this word, the word chores, means duties. I want you to know that the word chores means what? Chores equal duties. So we can replace it with the word duties. So here, he wrote it to compare chores at school to chores at home, or to get readers to do chores at their own school, to tell about the jobs to do at some schools. I believe that it's to tell about the jobs children do at some schools. And we said that in every school, they have duties for children, maybe to help their teacher in doing a lot of work. Question number 7. Why do some teachers teach lessons over the radio or by computer? Do you think why? Do you remember this part? It was for the e-learning and distance learning about homeschooling. Because their community cannot afford to build a school, some of their students cannot travel to the school. Radio and computer lessons help students pay attention. Which one is the answer? It's because some of their students cannot travel to school. Okay. Question number 8. Which sentence from the selection shows that some parents teach their children at home? Do you think why? Why? A home can also be a school. Some children live at their schools. Some children have other lessons after school. I'm waiting for your answer. Yes, a home also can be a school. And this part we said, sorry, this is not the answer. 1 minute. The answer, a home can also be a school. Why? Because we said that when sometimes we don't have a school like nowadays, we can't go to school because of COVID-19. What our parents can do, they can give us homeschooling. Homeschooling means distance learning, e-learning. We can stay at home, learn, and my parents will help me. My teachers will send to me things to study from, and this is the homeschooling. Let's go to the next page. Sorry. We will go to the page before the last page. Why do communities offer classes after school, do you think? To help children become better students, to give students a chance to play with others, to give students something to do besides watch television. Hmm. The answer will be, I'm waiting. You can know what is the answer. To help children become better. If you have private tuition at home after the school, maybe your mother or your dad bring for you a special teacher at home to teach you, to help you to be better student and become more brave and super. The last question with me today, why did the author most likely write this article? To tell about schools in China, to get people to go, to get people to go to school in China, to tell a funny story about school in China. Do you think? Do you think why did the author most likely write this article? Tell about schools in China, to get people to go to school in China, to tell a funny story about school in China. I believe to tell about schools in China, maybe. And finally, now, by the end of our lesson, I want all of you to choose one from four. One, if you don't understand the lesson and you need my help, you can send to me one to explain the lesson for you again. And two, if you need little help, not totally that you don't understand. Three, you got the idea and you understand. Four, it means that you can teach your sister or your brother the lesson from me. And finally, I want to start my practice sheet for today. And our practice sheet, it's for, as we did before, I gave you practice sheet about the main skill in our story or our text. It was about main idea. And all of us were talking about main idea for 2 days. So I want all of you to just focus with me and know what is the main idea about. I will give you this to do it at home, but first I should explain. This is just a little topic about the camel. All animals have adaptations that help them live in their habitats. Camels are desert animals that live in Africa and Asia. To protect its eyes from sand, the camel has 2 rows of eyelashes. Camels can also close their noses or nostrils to keep the sand out. They can go weeks without food or water, so they store fat and water in their humps. At night, the desert gets very cold, but don't worry, the camel doesn't. Why? Because camels have thick fur that keeps them warm. During the day, camels are hard workers and most have strong legs to carry heavy loads. Why I'm telling you that? Because I want you, after reading this topic about camels, I want you to just write here what is the title, then here what is the topic. uh, Sorry, here this is our topic, so the topic here, what is the title? It was the camel. So the first answer will be what? It was the camel. So this is will be our title. If I want all of you to know what is the main idea here, the main idea, it's about camels and how they are adapt in where in the desert. Okay, what are what are the details that he gives you here to talk about camels? We have two. The first, we have maybe a lot, that he has eyelashes, that he can store food and water, that the camel have thick fur that keeps them warm. We have a lot of details. I want you to write here what is the topic. So number one, you will write for me what is the topic is. Number two, you will talk about main idea. And finally, you will do for me the details here. Okay? And I want to thank all of you about your dedicated efforts. And I want all of you to try to be brave and try to do more practice and practice. I know that you are so good and super students to follow me. And thank you all. Goodbye for now and see you tomorrow.